Hello, and it's a good morning to you. This is Dr. Bill Bledsoe bringing you another morning session of Sacred Heart Yoga. It's Sacred Heart Yoga is your prayers, you saying what your heartfelt concerns are aloud in the privacy of your own homes, doing body movements that stretch and heal your body while your prayers heal your minds, your spirits, your souls. So it's a healing method, and I do it every morning, and I get something out of it every single day. So I hope you'll try it and enjoy it and have a wonderful walk with God. So we'll begin with my prayer. I thank the generations that have brought this to us, from the house of Abraham, the house of David, from Jesus, his mother Mary, Father Joseph, and Virginia Ellen, who wrote the book, Sacred Heart Yoga, so that we can practice, any of us can practice this ancient method of prayer anytime we want. Amen. Now, the first two prayers are, you'll repeat after me. And then the rest of the prayers, they're all short, many of them. You'll repeat my words, but you must finish the words with what's going on in your life. And then at the end, we tone Om and get ready for the next position. So if you'll repeat after me, beloved God, I devote this practice this day to the evolution of my soul, to the fulfillment of my destiny, in service to your love, O God. And I allow myself to be purified of fear, as I rejoice in your kingdom of heaven and your love of me, O God. And I give thanks for these blessings, these moments I can share with my mind, my body, my spirit, my soul, in oneness with your love, O God. And so it is. Amen. Om. Now we're going to try to clear our minds of distractions. Distractions are simply little fears of things that we got to accomplish this day, things we got to get done, things that's got to be accomplished at a certain time. And so our fears prevent our ability to love. And that's just hardcore fact. You cannot be terrified of somebody, standing with a gun to your head, or you in a firing line where you're going to get killed. You cannot be terrified and still be able to love. The two do not work. Fear prevents your ability to love. So if you want to be able to feel God's love and love God back, and feel others' love and love them back, you must get rid of your fears. So here we're going to it's called clear energy fields, just clear our minds of fears. We do this by a motion. We take our right hand up to the 12 o'clock position, let it go clockwise over to the 3 o'clock position, down to our right knee, left knee, 9 o'clock position, and then back up to the 12 o'clock position. And as we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I clear my energy field of anyone or anything standing within. I bless them and I send them into your love, your light, O God. Om. Now we're going to ask God, how may we serve you this day? And the answer generally comes to me in no more than 1 or 2 words, and most of the time I don't understand them. Sometimes it's a heartfelt feeling, every now and then nothing at all. Doesn't matter what comes to you. What matters is that you incorporate it in the rest of your prayers, and I promise you by the time you're done, you will understand what God's trying to tell you this day. So we take our right hands over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, and that means just repeat after me and then finish it with your own concerns if you have any. Here our prayers begin with, God, how may I serve you this day? Om. Now we stand up and we're going to announce out loud what came to us. We do this by standing straight and tall, arms at our sides, our palms forward. And here our prayers begin with, God, my intention to serve you this day is to Om. Now, in Aramaic, an oath was sealed by saying the word Amen aloud 3 times. Here we're going to sing it aloud, whatever tune works for you, whatever tone, however loud you want. We'll sing Amen 3 times to seal our oath to God. Amen. 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 Now we're going to sit back down on the mat and lay down on our backs. And we'll get into what's called resting position. Our legs outstretched, our arms comfortably at our sides. So here we begin by pulling our right knee up to our chest, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we hold our right foot in our left hand, pull it over to our left thigh, and let our right knee fall down to the mat. Our right arm gets extended straight above our heads, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we hold our right foot in our right hand down near our pelvis, and our left arm gets extended straight up above our heads this time, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we take our right foot in our right hand still and point it up towards the heavens, keeping our left arm stretched out above our heads down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we'll let our arms fall straight out to the sides from our chest, down to the mat, palms up. We let our right foot fall down to the mat, out to the right side of our bodies, opening our pelvis as wide as we can, our leg outstretched. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we turn our heads to the right, keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat. We take our right foot straight up above our bodies, over to the left side of our bodies, twisting our backs, keeping our shoulders flat. And we take it down to the mat on the left side. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we go back to resting position, arms at our sides, legs outstretched, and we pull our left knee up to our chest, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And here, here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we take our left foot in our right hand, pull it over to our right thigh, let our left knee fall down to the mat, and let our left arm get stretched out above our heads down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we switch hands, taking our left foot in our left hand, holding it down near our pelvis. Our right arm gets stretched up straight above our heads down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we take our left foot up towards the heavens. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you And I thank you for all. Now we go back to resting position, legs outstretched, arms at our sides. And we're going to try to get rid of our fears for a second time. This time we're going to just directly surrender any fear we have to God. So we put our hands under our sit bones, lean up on our elbows, try to touch the tops of our heads back down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, I surrender to you. Om. Now we go back to resting position and we reach for the heavens with our left hand and let it fall over to the right side of our body, stretching our left shoulder and back. And we take our right hand halfway between our left elbow, left shoulder, stretching it over farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your service, I choose to. Om. Now we take our right hand and reach up for the heavens. Let it fall over to the left side of our body, stretching our right shoulder and back this time. Take our left hand halfway between our right arm, right shoulder, stretching it over farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your service, I can. Om. Now we go back to resting position, and this time we're going to pull both feet up to our pelvis, soles of our feet on the mat. And then we let our knees fall out to the sides, out to the outside, and this forms a triangle below our bodies. This is a tabernacle. This is a house of God. We form a second tabernacle of our hearts by putting our hands over our hearts in prayer position, extending them up 2/3 of the way up to the heavens, elbows out. And in this tabernacle of our hearts, we find God's beautiful chalice brimming over, bubbling over with any gift we could ever dream of, desire, want, or need. And as long as we use these gifts only in service to God, we'll be able to keep them. If we use them for self-gratification, greed, or gain, we'll lose them. So here our prayers begin with, God, I drink from your chalice, your gifts to me of all. Now we take our hands in prayer position over the tops of our heads, down to the mat. Our elbows fall out to the sides. This forms a tabernacle, a house of God over our entire bodies. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for healing my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul. Om. Now we're going to start the anointing series. It's 4 prayers, and we repeat them 2 times. That's why it's called a series. And the 4 prayers during the whole time, both sets in the series, we keep our hands in prayer position. So hands in prayer position, our thumbs go to our foreheads. And here what we're doing is we are thanking God for the gifts he's given us and acknowledging that they are his, not ours. So we take our thumbs to our foreheads and our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gift to me of Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in your service, your gifts to me of Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts in prayer position. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of Om. Now we point our fingers down into our abdomens, extend them out to the 3 o'clock position, which is right above our pelvis. It's a motion this time. We extend our arms out to right above our pelvis, 3 o'clock position, like the arms of a clock. And then we move them counterclockwise up to the heavens, towards the heavens at the 12 o'clock position, and then down over our heads, down to the mat at the 9 o'clock position. And as we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to me of Om. Excuse me. Now we take our thumbs back to our foreheads and start the second set. The exact same 4 prayers, thanking God for our gifts. We take our thumbs to our foreheads and our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts to me of Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in your service, your gifts to me of Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts in prayer position. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of Om. Now we do the motion, pointing our fingers down into our abdomens, extending them out to the 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock positions. As we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to me of Om. Now we go back to resting position, arms at our sides, legs outstretched. We cross our right ankle over our left ankle. Our right wrist crosses over our left wrist over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for always protecting me, for always keeping me safe. Om. Now we roll over on our sides and push ourselves back up into sitting position using our arms and our hands. Now we extend our right leg straight out in front of us. Our left foot goes across our right knee. Our right arm goes around our left knee. Our left arm goes behind our backs for support. We twist our heads, our shoulders, our backs to the left. And here our prayers begin with, desire I am, desire I am, desire I am. God, in your service, I desire to Om. Now we take our left foot, extend it straight out in front of us. Our right foot goes across our left knee. We hold our right knee with our left hand. Our right arm goes behind our backs for support. And we twist our heads, our shoulders, and our backs to the right. And here our prayers begin with, will I am, will I am, will I am. God, in your service, I will. Om. now we get up on our knees. We put our hands in prayer position over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for all. Now we form a tabernacle with our hands by putting the tips of our thumbs together and the tips of our first fingers together. And we're going to put this tabernacle down on the mat in front of us. And we're going to lean over and put our foreheads into this tabernacle and take just a moment to feel God's love, God's presence in the world around us, and God's love healing our bodies. Om. Now we're going to sit back down on the mat. This time, our right foot goes out to the right side. Our left foot comes up to the inside of our right thigh. We extend our right leg out. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your service, I will become. Om. Now we let our left foot go out to the left side. Our right foot comes up to the inside of our left thigh. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your service, I am. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. We take our hands on our knees, touching our middle two thumbs, touching our middle two fingers. And we sit up straight and tall. And we bow forward at our pelvis, keeping our back straight. And here our prayers begin with, God, I bow to you for healing my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul. Om. Now we sit back up straight and tall second time, and we keep our back straight and we bow forward at our pelvis the second time, and our prayers here begin with, I bow to you, my God, my Father, my Mother, the One, the Oneness. Om. Now we sit back up straight and tall a third time. And this time we feel where we're grounded down to the mat on the left side and right side of our pelvis. On the left side of our pelvis, we feel God's wonderful white light of love, of nurturing, entering our bodies, filling our legs to the fullest, to the tips of our toes. God's white light of love and nurturing fills our abdomens, every cell and every organ, fills our hearts, our lungs, our arms, to the tips of our fingers. God's white light of love and nurturing comes up through our throats and into our heads, our minds, giving us God's love at all times. God's white light of love and nurturing shines out the tops of our heads, high, high up into the sky, as high as we can imagine. Then it fans out in all directions, covering the whole earth. And it rains down God's white light of love on every single living creature. Now we feel on the right side of our pelvis God's blue light of truth, of wisdom, of knowing. God's blue light fills our legs to the tips of our toes. It fills our abdomens, every cell and every organ. Fills our hearts, our lungs, this blue light of wisdom, of knowing, every cell knowing what to do to heal. Fills our arms all the way to the tips of our fingers. It comes up, the blue light of God's wisdom comes up through our throats into our minds, giving us absolute knowledge of God's truth. And it goes out the tops of our heads, high, high into the sky. And then it fans out in all directions around the whole earth and rains down God's wonderful blue light of truth on every living creature. Now we can step up into the light above our heads, ask anything we want, stay as long as we want. But the one thing we should always ask before going is, God, what do I need to know this day?